Historically, courtroom manipulation and intimidation have played a significant role in cases, particularly in the South. The white people hostile to racial justice would routinely establish a presence in Southern courtrooms as an effort to intimidate black plaintiffs, defendants, jurors, and lawyers. The defense attorney in the trial of the men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery is now trying to turn that glove inside out to say that black preachers supporting Arbery's family represent an intimidating presence in the courtroom. But there is no parallel there. There's no amount of intimidation that can be kind of squeezed out of their presence. That argument is outrageous. The defense even argued that civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson should be removed from the courtroom on the grounds that his presence, along with the presence of other black leaders and pastors, could influence the jury. The judge has declined the request and called the defense's statements about black pastors reprehensible. Brittney Cooper rejoins the discussion. Brittney, what is this about? Like he keeps harping on these black pastors. Even the judge, when he was denying the request to get Reverend Jackson out of the courtroom, he said, I wouldn't have even known that Reverend Jackson was in this courtroom had you not made this objection.
Look, these folks are ridiculous and they're racist and they're antagonists. And look, it ain't about the black pastors. I'm a church girl, I'm a preacher, and I'm a preacher's kid. And so that's just the Holy Spirit being like, you're doing wrong. This is wrong. Y'all are evil. And they feel the spirit of conviction. And so they're projecting that onto black pastors, right? When black pastors show up in the black prophetic tradition of saying you're not going to do injustice to our people, that is a direct affront to the kind of white supremacist project that is going on in the courtroom. But the other thing that white supremacists have done, particularly in these white conservative spaces, is they have turned Jesse Jackson's name and Al Sharpton's name into racial slurs. Many times I've had people send me hate mail and say, oh, you're just trying to be like the Sharptons and Jacksons of the world. And so they have argued that these men are illegitimate and that they are basically just, engaged in a racial con game where they play the race card and they muddy the waters. When really what we know in the courtroom is that it is these white attorneys helped along, quite frankly, by the legal system. They are in that city that are playing a racial con game, that are playing the race card, that are engaged in active white supremacy. And so it's pure projection to say that the folks who come to comfort the families and to do so as part of their religious tradition are engaged in acts of intimidation.
Yeah, and also the logic just doesn't hold to me, because juror intimidation would require some sort of power to threaten. And I just can't figure out what the threat would be. I can understand during Jim Crow when the Klan would show up to the trial and the entire gallery, at least on the first floor, would be full of white people, stern faces. There was an actual threat to Emmett Till's uncle when he testified, because these people were staring him right in the face saying, basically saying, I know who you are, where you live. What would be the threat that Jesse Jackson, who is elderly, what threat could Jesse Jackson pose that would intimidate anyone in that jury box?
Look, this is not about, that these people are not being logical, Charles, but this is dog whistle politics, right? What he's doing is he's invoking these guys as a way to say, particularly to white jurors, y'all know what this is, right? This is just another one of these cases where they bring in Sharpton and they bring in Jackson, to defend this. So they use Jesse Jackson's name and Al Sharpton's name as racial shorthand for this idea that black people are bullying and picking on white people and unfairly calling them racist. And so it's a way to signal to the jury that they are there to sort of incite, outsiders come to incite this and to make this about race when it's never about race in the first place. And so it isn't about a sort of logic around them actually being intimidating. Reverend Jackson just survived COVID. We know that this man is not an intimidation to anybody. It's actually about the narrative that has been constructed around the critical political work that those men have done in our communities for decades and decades and decades, and the way that these lawyers are signaling to these folks on the jury that the presence of a Jesse Jackson is the thing that makes this a racial issue, right? So it's not that 3 white men hunted down and stalked and murdered Ahmaud Arbery. That's not the racist issue, right? It's bringing Jesse Jackson. So it becomes a really perverse way of saying racism is not that we killed someone who didn't deserve it simply because we had a bunch of terrible racist assumptions. Racism is that they brought a black pastor in here to comfort these grieving families, right? So racism is not doing racist acts. Racism is actually acknowledging that race exists and plays a role in why we are all here today.
You know, I just can't help but, you know, kind of have it summon for me the idea that the northern black troublemakers are coming down and stirring up our good blacks down. You know, that whole idea is a very real feature of the Jim Crow South, that they didn't want the northern black agitators to come down and stir up trouble in the South. I mean, is that ringing a bell for you?
They are playing a whole drama like this is Birth of a Nation, right? Like this is the sad part. The real irony here is that they are engaged in a sham trial. That is what this is, right? This is one of these show trials, just like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, that's all about saying that Black people can trust the legal system when we know that these men killed this man. We know that they shouted expletives over his body, right? And so absolutely, it's totally giving Jim Crow era show lynching, anti-lynching trials. Totally that.
Brittney Cooper, thank you so much for joining me. If something should ever happen to me, I want every black pastor in America to come in there, and I also want some praise dancers and a choir in my trial. Thank you so much, Brittney, for joining me tonight.